Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for the Tech Guy is provided by CacheFly. CacheFly.com. Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy Netcast. The show originally aired on the Premier Networks on Sunday, August 24th, 2014. This is episode 1112. Enjoy. The Tech Guy Netcast is brought to you by SmartThings, the easiest way to create a smart home. SmartThings lets you control your home using your smartphone from anywhere. For 10% off any home security or solution kit, visit smartthings.com/twit and use the code TWIT10. And by Prosper. Prosper is a peer-to-peer lending marketplace that connects people who are looking to borrow money with those who have money to lend. Visit prosper.com/twit and receive a $50 Visa prepaid card when you get a loan. And by Hover.com. Hover is the best way to manage and buy domain names. It's simple, it's honest, it's easy to use. For 10% off your first purchase, go to hover.com and enter the promo code TTG8. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. Time to talk about computers and the internet and home theater and digital photography and all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo's the number. Our digital photographer, Chris Marquardt, stops by in about an hour and a half from now. 8888 Ask Leo. The website, techguylabs.com. I'm here with the phone ranger herself, Heather Hamann. Both of us awoken at 3:20 this morning by a little earthquake.
A little shaken.
You were in San Francisco. You felt it?
Actually, I stayed with some friends in San Anselmo, but yeah, I was like, wait, what? Oh, I'm alone.
The earth moved, and I was alone. I shouldn't make light of it. I know people were hurt. The earthquake was about 30 miles from the studios here in American Canyon. That's in the Napa Valley, wine country. And Napa itself, because there are a lot of older buildings there, did suffer a lot of damage. So our hearts and thoughts go out and prayers to the people who suffered from that earthquake. But here in the studio, fine, no problem, and we're okay. The thing that was interesting to me, and I don't know, I'm curious if you did this and other people in the Bay Area. The minute I woke up, I knew it was an earthquake. I've been through a few earthquakes. It's pretty obvious when it's an earthquake of that magnitude that, yes, this is an earthquake. It went in this area around 20 seconds. I leapt from the bed and shouted earthquake and then went back to bed. And immediately fired up my phone and looked at Twitter. Because how do you know if anything happened unless you look at Twitter, right? Mm-hmm. So Twitter just lit up because there's so many people in San Francisco. And, of course, I follow people in San Francisco because it's in the Bay Area. And so most of my Twitter feed was consumed at first by people, some of my our coworkers, in fact, shouting earthquake into the Twitter. And then within a few minutes, it was interesting. I follow a number of earthquake bots, the U.S. Geological Survey and others. And within probably 10 minutes, epicenter and magnitude information crossed Twitter. 40 minutes after the earthquake, CNN said, oh, there's been an earthquake.
Wow.
So the internet won that round.
Yeah.
Now, I think a lot of times with news, being first isn't necessarily being best. Certainly analysis and so forth takes time. But when there's an event like an earthquake or somebody like Robin Williams passing, it really does seem like the place to go. And I noticed my inclination immediately wasn't to go to Facebook, certainly not Google+. A couple of people on Twitter joked. And on Facebook, they're still showing 3-day-old pictures of the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. But on Twitter, it was about the earthquake. And for breaking news, Twitter has really become kind of almost a digital pulse, where it just, if you want to know something, if something happened, you go to Twitter immediately.
And it's so great how, like we were saying, when you are experiencing it, you don't know if you're feeling the hardest, the softest, or what. And then suddenly you've got this web of people, and they're like, no, all the stuff fell over in my house, where we're like, oh, the bed went sideways, Yeah,
well, and that's the other thing is, and people who don't live in earthquake country probably don't know this, but unlike a tornado, which has a very specific location, an earthquake was felt all over a very large area. And unless, where you feel it doesn't, you don't know. Is this the epicenter? Is this the focus? In which case, that's as strong as it was. Or am I feeling a mild remnant of it because I'm distant from it?
Right.
And so we had it pretty strong here, and in San Francisco got it pretty strong. But of course, it was Napa Valley that felt it the worst. And I've seen lots of pictures of, well, a trailer park caught on fire, and the water mains had broken. There was no way to fight the fire. Some of Napa, the older buildings, the old courthouse, for instance, in Napa, damaged. Some people injured. I don't think there were any deaths, but you know, what it is. We haven't. It's the worst earthquake since 1989. We haven't had an earthquake that bad in 25 years, and it's just a reminder. And everybody in California says that the big one is coming. We just don't know when. I think natives are just, yeah, it was an earthquake. And then make sure you have your wrench next to your gas main so you can turn it off. Make sure you know where your gas main is, where your water main is. I have a wrench that's actually a wrench for that particular nut, wired into that there, so it can't get lost, can't get removed. You learn some things after these things. Anyway, we're all okay, in case you were interested. And I think the really fascinating thing was to watch how different this is from 25 years ago. 25 years ago, I was at Candlestick Park during the Loma Prieta quake, the last severe quake in San Francisco. The World Series game was going on. World Series game number 3 was about to start. And it was a Bay Area series. It was the San Francisco Giants and the Oakland A's. And there was no question it was an earthquake. People were fairly calm in the stands, although it was very scary to watch the light standards in the ballpark sway, 15 or 20 feet in each direction. But we didn't really know what was going on. Nowadays, you'd fire up your smartphone and you'd check Twitter. In those days, way back when, you'd turn on your radio. And you'd if you're listening to the local news station, they'd have felt it. So you know right away, yeah, that was an earthquake, but they wouldn't have any information. Then I think they probably would get it in the same kind of time frame that Twitter got it. Then you call your friends, you call your family, you pick up your dumb phone. What I do remember very well in Candlestick Park, of course, is that some people had TVs because they were there for the World Series, those little portable TVs, and the rumors of what had happened were filtering through the ballpark. And of course, the first thing we heard is the Bay Bridge has fallen. Now, that wasn't exactly right. A little section of it did, and people did die. But at first, there was considerable concern. And I remember the ball players running out in the middle of the field with and getting their families out of the stands. Times have changed. We are all now kind of on this is what the promise of the internet was, isn't it? That we'd all be on some sort of a digital circuit, that we'd be always connected, never alone, never without. Of course, if there's a severe earthquake and the power and the internet go out, well, that's another matter. Then you might be. I think it just it's very telling how this has changed. Twitter, I have very mixed feelings about Twitter. I was an early Twitter user. In fact, I first signed up for Twitter in December of 2006. It was within a few months of their launch. Nobody much was on it. I didn't do much with it till April. I actually deleted my account at one point, and then saw that things were starting to happen. I rejoined Twitter in April of 2007. And at the time, it really was designed to be a way to text message your friends, let your friends know what's up, what's going on. It was just a few thousand people, just a few, it was mostly San Francisco and Silicon Valley types. But now it has become it's really transmogrified. It's something so interesting. And it is not any one thing. Yes, indeed, it's a news source of a kind. And when there were troubles in Ferguson, you saw them first on Twitter before the national media picked it up. When the Arab Spring happened a few years ago in Egypt, you saw that on Twitter first, that they organized through Twitter. In Turkey, in Tahrir Square, Occupy Wall Street used social media and Twitter. So it has that as well. And then it also has, and people have been talking about lately, a very kind of dark side. Because it's very easy to create a Twitter account under a pseudonym and use it to damage people, to attack people. I felt so bad for Robin Williams' daughter Zelda, who had to leave Twitter because, you know, most people on Twitter, there was an outpouring of support and love, condolences, but a handful of people, and that's all it takes, were really vicious. And she said, I can't take it, and left Twitter. Twitter is a very interesting beast. I don't even know if we know what it is yet. All right, let's talk. 8888 Ask Leo. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. After the earthquake in San Francisco, I ran into the station and started working, of course. You know, I got back as quickly as I can. And that was mostly what you did, even in the days after, was talk to people. Right. There wasn't much, there's not much news. So we did a lot of phone calls. I guess, you know, we were kind of a talk station, so.
Yeah, well, we had talk shows, so we had the equipment, but
right.
we were, you know, 23 hours were news.
Right.
Yeah, so those memories came back, and that was,
yeah.
That gets you going.
Yeah. That's what, you know, when it's kind of sad when you're in news. What you're really hoping is for a disaster because it's so exciting.
Yes, you know, and find out
right.
what it was. So,
right.
So you had to rely on
now we can go to the USGS and immediately find out. So the Google Now alert card popped up maybe 20 minutes later because they have to wait for the U.S. Geological Survey, and the USGS takes a little time to do the estimate. But that was the top of my Google Now card. And then if you hit it, you get the USGS maps. This is google.org/public alerts, so they have some sort of alert system. And then this is interesting. You share the alert, which I presume shares it to Google+, but they have a link, tweets related to this alert. So even Google acknowledges that the place to go for this is Twitter. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Shake, rattle, and roll. Shake, rattle. Leo Laporte, and the phone number 8888 Ask Leo. We are well shaken today. Heather Hammond here, the phone ranger, and I'm going to take the first call of the day. Who should I? You've been talking to these people. Who do you think?
That's right. They're nice and stable people, unlike us. G. Scott in Finland, Minnesota.
I know G. Scott well. Hi, G. Scott. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Oh, how are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
I should point out, you know, just because we get a lot of earthquakes, we're in the Pacific Ring of Fire, and there's a lot of tectonic movement all around, you know, Japan and California. Doesn't mean you can't get an earthquake in Minnesota. Historically, there have been. In fact, historically, New York City is due for a big one.
We'll have to stay braced then, I guess, out east here.
I'd rather be somewhere where we've had them so we're ready, frankly.
Yeah, well, I'm glad your wine cellar is safe anyway.
Yes, my wine cellar survived, although good friends who are vintners suffered a lot of damage. And I saw the picture of the Napa grocery where all the wine bottles were on the floor, and there was a lot of wine on the floor.
Not good.
Not good. What can I do for you, G. Scott?
Well, I just I got an Ultrabook last weekend there. I was down looking at the Surface Pro 3. There you had some discussion about that last week. That gal called, but I ended up with just an Ultrabook, and I got Windows 8. You know, I've been Windows 7 forever, and I'm comfortable with Windows 8.
Yeah.
So 8.1, is that an upgrade for people that are uncomfortable with 8?
No.
Or am I going to see benefit?
No, you definitely want to go to 8.1. There's a lot. 8.1 in the old days they would have called that Service Pack 1. Mm-hmm. It's a significant update, and yeah, you're right to focus on some of the UI changes, which are a response to people who didn't like the UI changes in 8.0. But it isn't. They're not significant. They brought back a start button, not a start menu. You know, the biggest one, and I actually really like this, the biggest one from my point of view is that, so, you know, the issue on Windows 8.1, I have this issue, a lot of people do, not everybody. Every time I say anything negative about Windows 8.1, people say, oh, I love it. What are you talking about? It's great. But my issue is Microsoft, and I think this is a fair statement. Microsoft decided that they wanted to blend tablet touch operating system features with their existing desktop operating system features to, in effect, give you Windows 7 plus, on top of it, a tablet-focused interface. And if you're not using a tablet, especially if you're using a big screen desktop, it's silly. When you get to that tile menu start screen on a 27 or a 30-inch screen, it just looks dopey. There's no real good reason for it, especially if it's not a touch screen. It's a waste of space. You got much more content in the start menu than you do on the big start screen. And in fact, that's why Microsoft in the next version of Windows, codenamed Threshold, which will come out in the spring, is going to bring back that start menu. That was a very economical way of showing you what you have. However, that's cosmetic. There are other more substantive issues, things like having two versions of Internet Explorer and really not knowing which one's going to launch. There's a Metro, a tiled Internet Explorer, that has the URL bar at the bottom and doesn't support things like Flash. And then there's the desktop Internet Explorer that's much like the one you're used to with the URL bar at the top, and it does support Flash. And you don't know which you're going to get, and you can't get rid of one of them. You can't always use one of them. It's just dumb to do that to people. They mushed together two operating systems. Now, you can get used to it. You can get used to anything. I mean, the Charms bar is another thing that really is designed for touch. If you're not using it, did you get a touch screen on your Ultra?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a 13-inch, so it's a convertible too, so I got a tablet.
Yeah, I strongly encourage people who get 8.1 to get touch because so much of it is touch centric. Moving the mouse to the very upper right-hand corner and then waiting a second to see what programs are running. Moving the mouse to the very lowest right-hand corner to get the Charms bar. Those are not natural, intuitive moves. But on a touch screen to slide in and slide out, that's not so bad.
Right.
So I feel like Microsoft, by the way, if you doubt me, just notice that the man who ran that, Steven Sinofsky, was summarily fired. And the CEO who was responsible for Microsoft not only was fired effectively, but forced off the board as well. I mean, there were severe consequences to Microsoft. And they've now backed down. So you can say all you want, Windows, Leo, you're prejudiced. You don't like Windows 8.1. You're wrong. Well, I may be, but it sure left some repercussions at Microsoft. Yeah. And it did not sell well. It is not selling well at all. However, I recommend people get it. And for the same reason, I recommend you get the update 8.1. In fact, you're going to want to get 8.1 and then the 8.1 update, because there's been another update since then.
So there's the 8.1 service pack one.
Yeah, in effect. What you'll do is you go to the store, the Metro store, and there's 8.1. And once you apply that, then the 8.1 update will come in almost immediately.
Okay.
I don't see any reason. The only people who hold off from 8.1 and 8.1 update are businesses that want to make sure, if you're a business and you've got 9,000 seats, you want to make sure that you're not going to have problems with your line of business software and the new update, things like that.
Right, yeah. No, I'm one seat, one business, so no problem there.
And there's good reason for that. The last Tuesday, the last big patch Tuesday, Microsoft pushed out a patch that actually broke some people's computer. You had to be a little bit, your setup had to be a little odd. You had to have fonts, shortcuts for your fonts in the font folder. I don't know why that would happen, but some people did. And if you had a shortcut instead of a font in the font folder, you got a blue screen of death. You could not boot.
It's been a while since I had one of them, too. But
yeah. I think 8.1 is fine.
I'm happy with this 8, and so then I was just wondering.
No, go to 8.1 because there's other stuff. There's security updates and things you want.
Okay, good deal. Yeah. Well, right on. Once again, you've helped me keep on motoring down this highway here. So.
Thanks, G. Scott. Great to talk to you once again. And I don't want people to think I'm saying don't. I no longer say get Windows 7. It's too old now. You should always get the new version of Windows. You're just going to have to bite the bullet and get used to it, or I think this is a less desirable choice, but I did it. Add third-party applications that bring back features like the Start menu. I just think on a desktop computer, full-screen applications don't make a lot of sense. Tiles don't make a lot of sense. And I'm not alone, obviously. You know, and some people say, well, but it's because of you, people like you, Leo, and the tech press who didn't like Windows 8.1. As a result, you know, just as you did with Vista, it's your fault. People would have loved it if you hadn't said anything about it. I don't know. We'll see. Next version of Windows is coming out next year, and there are all sorts of interesting rumors. One that Microsoft might even give it away, which would be a real acknowledgement that people were unhappy with Windows 8. Windows 9 or whatever they call it. I think they might call it Windows 1. They might go back and do a reboot. But Microsoft is a company in transition. The world has changed out from under them, and they have to deal with that. 8888 Ask Leo. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, we have video of the quake here in our studio, if you want to see it. I'll show you what happened when the brick hit the, I don't know, there's a joke there somewhere. Here, I'll go full screen so you can see all the horrible detail. Here we come in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. That's it right there. Even the camera didn't shake. Even the drop cam was still. Do we have other cameras? What about the camera in my room? Did that... Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888. Ask Leo the phone number. Gail is in Covina, California, our next caller. Hi, Gail.
Hi. I am piggybacking on the lady yesterday who is getting her first smartphone, and she talked to you last week as well.
Oh, yeah, Judy from Placentia.
Yeah, there
She's
we
becoming
go.
a living legend.
She's almost a neighbor.
Oh, neat.
Almost. Anyway, I got a question. I can't wait for iPhone 6 because I have iPhone 4.
Oh, it's time.
Yes, it's time. So when you talked about pre-ordering, I thought, oh, yeah, that's what I need to do. I need to pre-order because it's going to be a long time before it's in, you know, the Verizon store and that kind of thing. But I got a question. You told her pre-order and then take it into Verizon because that's what she's going to change to, I think.
No, not exactly.
Okay, tell me.
Well, actually, yes. Well, it depends. So here's what will happen when you pre-order, if Apple does it as they have done it every year for the last 6 years.
Uh-huh.
When it becomes... So Apple's announcement is, we believe, although the invitations won't go out for a few more days, September 2nd, Apple always waits till 1 week because they want all the tech journalists to pay the most expensive price possible for their airplane and hotel reservations. So September 2nd, then we'll get confirmation that September 9th is the day. It will probably be September 9th, but remember, I could be wrong.
Right, okay.
In fact, Apple may be planning it for September 9th and then realize they've got a problem. This is not unheard of, that the phone is having a manufacturer issue or something and then not put it out. So all of this is just, in all likelihood, September 9th they'll announce it, and it will be available on September 19th, 10 days later. During the announcement, as I told Judy yesterday, Apple will probably say available for pre-order, and then they'll give you a date, likely September 12th.
Okay.
Typically, they do it the Friday before. So what you'll now want to do, there's a variety of ways to do this, but I think this phone in particular, and this is usually the case when they do a complete redesign, and every other year they do that, this is the year, will be in short supply. They'll run out fast. They may not. There have been years where if you wandered into an Apple store, you know, later in the day on the 19th, they go, yeah, here's your phone. There's no line. You walk out with a phone. But if you really, somebody like you with an iPhone 4 and you're just desperate, I've got to upgrade. You want to get as quickly as possible. Midnight of the day that they announced the pre-orders for, midnight Pacific time, Go to store.apple.com or even just directly to apple.com, and you'll see pre-orders available now. You click that button. They will say, who's your carrier? You say Verizon. They will actually then take you to the Verizon site where you will log in with your Verizon login. And that way Verizon knows, oh, yeah, it's you.
Okay.
And if you are due for an upgrade, that will be taken into account, all of that stuff.
Okay.
And they will know your phone number. So when you get the phone on the 19th, and by the way, by doing this, you guarantee that it will be FedExed, and you will get it the very first thing in the morning on the 19th. You don't have to go to a store or anything.
Right.
Then there will be an activation process. On Verizon, it usually involves calling in a phone number from that phone. It gets activated. It just depends on your carrier how you activate it, but there'll be an activation process. And on the SIM card that's in your phone, and Verizon now uses SIM cards in these phones, will have your phone number automatically. As soon as you activate the new phone, the old one will stop working as a phone. It'll still work, by the way, as an iPod, so you don't throw it out. You could use it to play music or play games and all that. It's just the phone's part will stop working.
Now, let me ask you this, because this is what I'm really wondering about. Because, see, I would love, just as you told her, to be buying it from Apple. So
Yes,
that
you are. When you do it, yeah.
Is that still buying
Yes.
it Apple, or am I?
No,
buying
Apple's fulfilling it. It's coming from Apple, which is what you want.
Right.
Sometimes, this isn't always, they say, would you like to pick it up at the store? You can even do that if you feel like you want to visit the Apple store. That is from Apple. If you start at the Verizon website, it's from Verizon.
Oh.
And I think it is good to buy it from Apple, although they work hand in hand with the carrier, so that you'll be ready to go.
Okay, because there is a difference in price. If I'm just buying it straight out from Apple.
This is not true. Now, if you're due for an upgrade,
Yes, if I'm due for an upgrade.
as you are, you will get the upgrade price at Apple as well.
Okay. All right.
That's why you have to log into Verizon, prove your identity, get the phone number, and Verizon will say, "Oh, good, you're upgrading," and Apple will only charge you $200.
Okay. Got it. That's what I wanted to know, and I can't wait because my phone is dying.
Well, and I'm actually very excited about the new iPhone too. I think first of all, a bigger screen. There's going to at this moment in time, we believe there will be two new iPhones, a 4.7-inch screen, which is a nice size. If you still want to hold it in your hand and operate it with one finger, this is a nice size.
Right.
And a 5.5-inch screen, which I've been skeptical. It doesn't seem Apple-ish, but the rumors are strong. There will be a 5.5-inch screen. That's not a phone. That's a mini tablet.
Yeah.
But that's a great product for people who don't want to have an iPad and an iPhone. And if you carry your phone in your purse, it's not going to make that much difference.
And is there some talk also, I mean, I know we don't really know anything yet, that they may come out with just one of those sizes
Yes.
first?
Yes.
Okay.
We don't know. And so the latest rumors, this is so crazy. As we get closer and closer, it gets crazier and crazier. And it's all rumors. It could all be false, except that we keep seeing pictures of production models. The Thailand minister of the Thai FCC announced that they had approved 2 new models. There more and more evidence that will be 2 models of the iPhone. But we've also heard this week from Reuters that they were having production problems with the extra big one.
Oh.
And that's been the real concern, is that the 5.5-inch might be delayed due to production problems.
And that's okay with me. I want the smaller one.
Yeah, I think you want. Most current iPhone users would be a little taken aback to get this giant phone. A 5.5-inch phone is big. Those of us who've been slowly working our way up to that, it's not so big. But that's a big jump from a 4-inch phone.
Yeah.
That's almost a 50% increase. That's a big jump. And
much bigger than the one I currently have, because
Yes.
I have a 4.
Oh, you have a 3.5-inch phone.
Yeah, I have a small phone.
Yeah, don't go from 3.5 to 5.5. You'll fall over.
No, I'm not
You'll
going
be
to do
top
that.
heavy. You won't be. And the funny, it's little things like you got to get used to the fact that your phone looks so big when you're making a call. I'm used to that now. It's funny. People used to laugh when you used a Galaxy Note, which at the time was only 5 inches. They said, "Oh, your phone is so big." Now it's not. It's normal. So we just get used to it.
Right.
I think the new iPhone is going to be well worth it.
Oh, yeah.
And if you've been coming from the 4, you're and you're going to get the new iOS 8. That is a really big reason to get the new iPhone.
Oh, yeah.
You wouldn't be able to upgrade that for.
It's going to happen. Thank you.
Sure, Gail.
Bye-bye.
Have fun. And all of this is subject to change because Apple hasn't said anything. This is all speculation, but this is how they've done it in the past. And sometimes if the phone's in really short supply, you'll see the in-the-know Apple fans will, you know, they'll zig and they'll zag, and sometimes it is better to go to the carrier store. If Apple doesn't have it, you know, one thing you could do is you go to the mall, make sure the mall has both an Apple store and a Verizon store or T-Mobile, whatever, and that way you can go from one to the other. I've actually gone to an Apple store, picked up an iPhone, and then had to go to the AT&T store to get the SIM for the iPhone in it. They've eliminated that problem. You know, they've gotten better and better at this. There have been many problems in the past with this online order process. We shall see. I think September 9th. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Oh.
The penguin hat had already fallen. But there is a mystery.
Is it on my Gmail?
Yeah. We cannot figure out what is going on during this. Something happens that
Here's the earthquake in my studio, and there John tells me there is a mystery. You have to watch this drop cam video closely and tell me what you think is going on here. Are you ready, ladies and gentlemen? I take you back in time to 3:20 a.m. early this morning. You see the clock, actually 3:21.
Penguins had already fallen.
The penguin had already fallen, so that's not. But look at the, I'll tell you, this is going to fall. Oh, there you go. Oh, whoa.
you're not supposed to say that. They're supposed to figure out what the mystery is.
It got bright.
No, I want to know what
The light came on.
what light.
Let's watch that again in instant replay.
What light is that? And then it goes right off.
Is it this? No, it's the big light.
Wow, that's interesting.
Maybe it shook the little dip switch a little bit.
That is so weird.
Well, let's watch that again. Why did a light come on and then go off?
I don't think your bobblehead moves at all.
The bobblehead doesn't bobble.
Well, but the camera does, because this camera.
The camera moves a little bit. The bobble moved a little bit. Mike moved a little bit.
But that light.
I really thought I'd come in here and all that crap would be on the ground. Why did the light come on?
I think, did a dip switch, something hit this?
It's not the iPad turning on or something like that. No, it's a fluorescent. It's this one, isn't it?
Yeah.
So turn that off, the middle one off, turn it all the way off. Well, you can't now.
Okay, now let's go to the oh, I don't have the wide shot here.
It only has to move that much.
Would you like me to put it in 8?
That's all right. It's bizarre. And it looks like, who's on the air during this? Is it Lisa? Are we rerunning Inside Twit? I think we are. That's Inside Twit being rerun. Yeah, there's Lisa. The fact that it went on and then it went off is weird. We don't have a motion.
It's not that different. It's only a tiny.
It should stay on.
Well, no, it's like a centimeter, or not.
Yeah,
even
I guess if it was close to that, it could have.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the place is haunted. And do we have any other drop cams?
I haven't looked through the videos on them. Not all of them have video.
But we now know that the one thing that fell over was that little Egyptian obelisk. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888. Ask Leo the phone number, 888-827-5536. You know, if you have a tip, if you are a veteran iPhone buyer, I have bought every iPhone. I admit it. I got in line in 2007, waited for 6 hours to get the first iPhone. But I do it for you, you understand. Because I have to, I would not normally say, oh, I've got to have it. But almost always it becomes available on a Friday, and I want to have it and play with it so that by Saturday I can tell you about it. That's not, it's a great sacrifice. I actually stopped using the iPhone day-to-day a couple of years ago, went to Android. I'm very happy with the Android phones I use. But I'm looking at this new iPhone and thinking, I'm sad to say I had a very nice Windows phone, the Nokia 1520, and it died. and I'm having trouble getting a replacement from Nokia. Even though it's well under a year, it's only a few months old. They don't seem to want to replace it. So, the good news is nobody really is asking me about Windows phones. So, Bill in Emerson, Arkansas. Hi, Bill. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Leo, so great to finally talk to you. Listen, I heard several radio operators call in yesterday, so I'll continue the trend today. This is WB5FKG.
WB5FKG. Well, I'm going to have to send you a QSL card from W6TWT.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's good to talk to you. There's, people probably don't realize that hams are the original geeks.
Absolutely, yes.
All of this stuff, so. Packet radio, everything, hams invented it.
Yep, sure did. And listen, I got a situation here. I'm in very rural South Arkansas, and internet access on DSL is not available. I really had only two options, satellite or cellular service.
Yeah.
Wound up going the Verizon MiFi route.
Yeah.
The thing worked amazingly well, and it got it early 2012, I think. And for the first, I got a 5 gig plan for $50 a month. We'd go over a little bit every so often, but then earlier this year, data usage started to explode.
Uh-oh.
And two reasons is my best guess. One is a new Verizon tower went in about 7 miles from here that helped the speed go up tremendously.
Yeah, and higher speed often encourages more use.
Absolutely,
yeah.
And it did, and it does. The other thing that happened about the same time, though, is all these videos on Facebook and whatever.
Yeah, and they autoplay now, don't they?
Yes, they do,
yeah.
And it's driving me nuts. And yesterday morning, I got online on Facebook, and all these doggone ALS Ice Bucket Challenge videos were rolling one after another as I was scrolling down. I think it's time. So I thought it's time to call Leo. What can I do about this?
I know. I hate this. This was a change that Facebook made fairly recently, and I think you've come up with a very compelling reason why they shouldn't have done it. It is using bandwidth. You may not even want to you may not even want to see those videos, but you don't have, it's like, no, sorry, we're going to play them.
Exactly. I went up to from roughly 5 gig. In fact, we started off, we'd use about 3.5. But it's.
Do you think that's the main reason? That's interesting.
Well, it's got to be one of the reasons. I don't know what. I don't think our usage or habits.
It's considered bad form to play video, and autoplay anything like that. It's worse to autoplay audio. At least they keep the audio turned off. It's just considered bad form for a variety of reasons. It's annoying if you're in an office, all of a sudden, all this loud, noisy video is playing. It's just bad.
And our usage has exploded into like 15 to 18 gig now.
Well, the good news is you can turn it off. The funny thing about Facebook is the settings are there's so many of them. There's millions of them that it's hard to find the setting, right?
Right.
So there is a autoplay video setting within Facebook that you can change.
Great.
So what you're going to do is click in the upper right-hand corner. You can probably easiest to do this on a computer. Not mobile.
It's both both my wife and I have Windows 7 laptops.
Yeah. So when you go to the more settings, because they don't really want you to go in there, so they show you some settings, and then you got to go to more. If you look at the bottom, there's a videos setting, and there's really only one checkbox: autoplay on, autoplay off.
Okay.
Now, this setting only applies when you use Facebook on your computer. So you've got to change the video. See, they're just, I am starting to loathe Facebook. This should be a global setting, right? But no, you've got to go to each application of Facebook and turn it off. Can you believe that? They just, it's so obvious. And I think this really breaks the social agreement that you have with a company.
Yeah.
Very obvious. They're just trying to trick you into doing all this stuff. And then if you say, "Oh, but I don't want it," they go, "Oh, okay." Well,
from a marketing standpoint, I understand it completely. You are compelled to actually watch some of this that you otherwise would not watch. But at the same time, it's costing a lot of people. I'm not the only one, surely, in this boat. It's got to be costing a lot of people a lot of money.
Yeah, everybody who's paying by the bit ought to turn that off. I agree. Do you stream audio or video? I mean, are you watching Netflix? Because One thing that happens with faster speed is that Netflix will use more, because what happens is Netflix changes how much data it downloads depending on your speed. If the speed is slow, it's just gonna say, well, you're not gonna get a great picture. I'm just gonna download less. But as soon as the speed speeds up, Netflix and others will do this too. Say, oh, good, he can watch high quality video. Let's throw him a gigabyte an hour. And suddenly it's very, very expensive. So that is one consequence to having higher speeds. Partly it's you want to use more because it's easier. You can surf faster. You can just, everything happens faster. But partly it's that some of these streaming services will actually pump literally pump more bandwidth per second down because they can. Send the bill to Mark Zuckerberg. Hey, Mark. It really surprised me when they changed this setting to autoplay videos. And the conventional wisdom is that this doesn't have anything to do with ALS Ice Bucket Challenge videos. It has everything to do with ads. Because advertisers, and I don't know if they've started selling these ad units on Facebook, but advertisers would love to play a video for you as you're scrolling through your Facebook feed. And so until they enable the, so I think what happened is Facebook said, okay, first we're going to turn it on for your friends' videos, and then after you get used to that, then we're going to start selling advertising. So all of a sudden you're going to see a Pepsi commercial right in the middle of your Facebook feed, and it's going to be loud and it's going to play. I think that's where they're going with this. It's a chance for them to make more money. And you're very understanding, Bill. You say, well, I understand they need to make money. That's very understanding of you. Most people just go, I don't. But they do need to monetize. But I also think they have a social contract with us not to push it too far, don't you think? All right, hang on. We're going to get to our next caller in Indianapolis, Skip, in just a bit, right after your local news. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Web 7045 says there was a piezoelectric pulse released by the earthquake that lit up the fluorescent lights. No, you think? Wow. Or maybe we just had a Smart Things hub attached and it just said, hello, you need lights. Do you know? Wouldn't that be what home automation? Actually, you can't have that set up with Smart Things. In fact, this would be a really great idea with Smart Things. Home automation is cool, although it's very challenging because nothing talks to anything else, and it's always been complicated. Smart Things was a Kickstarter project that raised a lot of money, has done very well, and created a solution that talks to everything. This is your Smart Things hub. You connect that up. It talks to the devices, and you absolutely could have Smart Things. They have a motion detector, detect the motion, and turn on the lights. You could even have it say, earthquake, earthquake. You could have it phone home. You could have it do anything. Talk about a smart home. Smartthings.com. Secure your home for a fraction of the cost of a traditional home security system. Stay connected to your family by getting notifications when people come and go. Control and automate your lights, your small appliances from wherever. Be notified if there's an unexpected entry or movement in your home or an earthquake. Get instant alerts to prevent a small leak from making a major flood. Smart Things. You can start with one of the 3 smart home security kits, which are designed to help you protect and monitor your home. New and improved updates of Smart Things' Zigbee sensors, which is great. Smart Things, he talks to everything. That's their idea is, look, you need to be able to set up all your stuff. So Smart Things talks to GE, Schlage, Honeywell, Eon, Nest, Dropcam, Philips Hue. I love those Philips Hue lights. Wemo, Sonos. They've got 4 brand new solution kits. These are great. That will help you achieve certain goals. By the way, you notice iOS and Android apps, which make it very easy to control your Smart Things. Let's get started with these solution kits. You get the home security kit or the solution kit, and those are for a specific goal, like automating your lights or saving energy or protecting your home from leaks. Look at these new sensors. There's so many cool sensors. If you get the kit, you get the Smart Things hub that I just showed you, plus everything you need to turn your home into a smart home in minutes. I think these guys have really figured this out. You get all the sensors, the hub, the open-close sensor, the presence sensor, the motion sensor, the outlet. And, of course, as I said, it works with everything else in your home, like your Nest thermostat and your Hue lights. I could have my Hue lights turn on and go red when there's an earthquake. Or if the Niners win, I could have them go green and blink. Because it ties into if, then, then that. So that really gives you all sorts of capabilities. To get started creating your smart home, visit smartthings.com/twit. And you'll save 10% off the purchase price of any home security or solution kit when you use the offer code TWIT10, TWIT10. Solution kits start at $170, home security $350, but you use the code to save TWIT10 at smartthings.com/twit. Love these guys. This is a really, it's what I've been looking for a long time, the universal home automation system. Dr. Mom says she uses hers as a cat-activated security system. The cat wandering around activates a motion detector, which turns on a light for a short time, and it looks like someone's home. Hey, that's a good idea, Dr. Mom. Well, see, when the Niners do a touchdown, I can alternate the Hue lights green and gold, green and gold, green and gold. And when they win, I can have the fireworks go off in the backyard. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk about, well, let's see, computers. Sure, yeah, we'll talk about that. Although I think less and less people are using desktop and laptop computers, more and more tablets and phones, but those are computers. So smartphones, tablets, home theater for sure. And in about half an hour, our digital photography guru, Chris Marquardt, I think, is joining us. 8888 Ask Leo is the number if you want to ask a question, make a comment, anything with a chip in it, any kind of tech. This is the time. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Skip is on the line from... Now, wait, what happened to my Indy call? I guess he dropped.
Skip is in Annapolis, Maryland.
Oh, you just fixed it?
No.
Did I misread it?
Actually, which is fine. It's so
I
close.
read Indianapolis, Indiana, and he's actually Annapolis, Maryland. It's not even close. I should retire. Hi, Skip. Sorry about that. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
We have better crabs here than in
Oh, you've got the best crabs in the world. You hit them with a hammer. But actually, I like the soft shell. What is that, the spring?
Yes.
Love that. You don't like soft shell crab?
I saw one of those sitting on a piece of bread once, and no, I could not do that.
Yeah, that's because you know why it's soft. I don't know if I want to go into this. They molt.
Yeah, yes.
They shed their shells, and so they got no shell. But a real Marylander likes the bay laurel seasoning and the hammer, and you whack it.
That's right, with a ton of Old Bay on it.
Old Bay, and you got the newspaper under it. I've done that. It's awesome.
And you just dive in and make a mess.
All over yourself. So what can I do for you, Skip?
Leo, I have a friend that is starting up a business, and I have the same type of business that runs off a dedicated PC.
Yeah.
What I've done, I've cloned that PC onto a USB hard drive because before he gets into it, he would like to see how it all runs.
Okay.
I was going to ship this hard drive out to him. Theoretically, he can plug it into his USB, and it would start up just as if it were my computer here, correct?
Yes and no. So if his computer can boot from USB, you could actually send him the key, too. It doesn't matter. Hard drive, USB drive, doesn't matter.
Right.
If it would boot from that. The problem is that he probably has a different kind of computer, so drivers will be different.
Well, that's what I'm running into because I've tried it on 2 different PCs here at the home, and it looks like it loads Windows, in this case Windows 7. Then I get a system recovery options window.
Yeah.
Select the keyboard, you hit next, and then it goes into searching for Windows installations, and then it gives me another system recovery window that brings up Windows 7, Windows 7 Home Premium, and
So you have a bootable. Is this thumb drive bootable? Have you tried booting from it?
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's the problem I'm running into. It never completes the boot.
Oh, well, it's not a bootable hard drive then. So the first step for you at your end is to make a bootable hard drive.
Okay.
And that is not just copying your stuff over. How did you make it? How did you make it? Just out of curiosity.
I just thought cloning would have included all the bootable.
You used a cloning. No, because you have to get the master boot record as well. Okay. And even if you did that properly, when he gets it, it's not going to run properly because his machine, unless his machine is identical to yours.
Right.
His machine has all sorts of other things. And, of course, Microsoft's going to say, whoa, that's not a genuine version of Windows. Because one other thing Microsoft does is it does this in the background. This is part of the Windows Genuine Advantage. I don't know why they say it's an advantage. I should call it Windows Genuine Disadvantage. It looks at all your hardware and does some, and they've never explained exactly what, but does some sort of hash of it, and that if it changes, if more than a certain number of components change, it goes, that's not the original, this is different, and it won't run. It'll say this is a pirated system. So I think what you want to do is probably not ideal.
Okay.
You want him to see what?
Well, I run an internet radio station. He wants to set up the same thing and what the programs are that I'm running and how it's all interfaced.
So that I see that. That makes sense. Yeah, there are other ways to do that without cloning all of Windows. So let me think of how you might want to do this. This is a really interesting challenge. You can download for Windows, for instance, what they call a LAMP stack, which is an Apache server and PHP all properly configured, and it's just a blob, and you install it, and now you can be running a web server. There seems like there should be a way to do I got it. What you want to do is create a VMware appliance. Right, VMware guys? So instead of sending him a bootable drive, what you want to do is create an image using a virtualization program like VMware or a VirtualBox that he could then, you send him that, he then runs VirtualBox or VMware on his machine, loads the image, and now he's running your complete setup without changing anything. That makes sense, right? We got a bunch of people in town for VMware, right? The big conference, VMworld.
Okay, I think I got you.
Now, VMware offers a free appliance player, I believe. Does he need a full version of VMware to make the image? No. So he could do this for free? Yeah. So go to VMware.com. It's good we have these VMware engineers in here. VMware, this is really cool. Once you have the VMware player, you'll see a bunch of appliances on the VMware site. You want to try, Linux, you could just run these things in this player, and it's doing it. In fact, he could actually run your internet radio station from his computer exactly like this.
Okay.
So this way will avoid a lot of the problems. You might still get a Windows activation notice. I'm not sure. What happens when you're running a virtual machine is from the point of view of the operating system running within it, you've got kind of a generic setup around it, which then talks to the actual hardware. There's a layer, and you may still get a little note. He may still get a notice. With any luck, he'll be able to do it for 30 days, but before he has to activate it.
Okay. Yeah, he just wanted to see.
He wants to see it.
There's so many different programs out there. He wanted to try and see how I did mine. That's all.
I wish there was some way you could just bundle up those critical pieces. Then you wouldn't have to send him Windows or anything.
Exactly.
And I don't know of a way to do that. But this we'll see if we can find it. But this VMware thing would really work well. And VMware really is the company for this stuff. VirtualBox, which is free, is a little bit less powerful. I don't know if they do the appliance thing or not, but I know VMware does. And my VMworld experts tell me you can do this all for free with the VMware appliance and create an image and send it to them.
Well, sounds good, Leo.
Another way to do it, chat room's come up with another way, is use remote desktop. He could remote desktop to your machine and see what it looks like.
And that was my next option, yeah.
Jeff Needles is in love with the Intel NUC. Jeff is somebody who works in my office, and he just, for some reason, I don't know why, is in love with these little, they're Apple TV size, they're like hockey pucks. And is that running on a NUC? Yeah, there's NUCs everywhere in this office. They're really tiny little computers. You could actually set that up for him and send it to him. It's small, and it could, be running. It could be an appliance running your radio station.
I have to look into it.
Make sure he sends it back. But how much is a NUC? They're not expensive. They're a few $100, right?
Right.
Intel created this, and they're using Celerons, in some cases Atom, really like low-end processors, but it's fine for what you want to do.
Excellent.
It stands for the New Unit of Computing. Next, not new, next. This is not the next unit of computing. Do you think it is, Jeff? This is the next unit of computing. Is this thing a hockey puck-sized computer? I don't think so. Although what's cool, you could attach it to the back of a monitor, and then it's like an all-in-one. The magic of Velcro. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. There's always a next unit of computing. One more video, friends.
Yeah. Now, the first video of the TV desk, the camera is bolted to the rafters.
Right, so it didn't move much. Mine was a little shakier.
In this video, it moves with the camera stand to the top.
Right.
This one back in Radio Corner is just sitting on top of the desk.
So you're going to get a little more shaking because Radio Corner, the camera isn't mounted on anything. And by the way, this is something in the chat rooms really wanted. Earthquake video, ladies and gentlemen. This is coming from the Radio Corner, and there's no audio on these. I wish there were. Oh, we turn off audio because we don't want anybody to hear what we're saying. Lisa demanded this. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the earthquake. Whoa! 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 Ah! Ah! Whoa, look at the sheep hanging on the camera. It's just, whoa. Okay, now you've seen the earthquake from 3 different angles.
I think that's all we have.
That's all we have. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888. Ask Leo. That's the phone number. Hey, ho. Let's go. Been talking with my VMware experts. What a great thing VMware does. VMware.com. They offer the converter that you need that would take your hard drive, image it. During the conversion process, it's going to ask you, what is the target? So you'll say, I'm going to target this for the VMware player. It'll make something that, is a few gigabytes that you could put on a DVD, you could put on a thumb drive, a USB disk. Then you send it to your friend. You just tell him, download the free VMware player on your Windows machine, run it, and open up this little thing I'm sending you, and boom, he's running in a window, or full screen if you want. He's running your radio station. What a nice solution. I like it. And none of that cost you any money. Chris in Miami, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Chris.
Hey!
Hey! You woke me up. How you doing?
I'm always good when I talk to you. 99 degrees over here in Miami. I wanted to rub it in just a little bit.
Wait a minute. What's the humidity, Chris?
All right, let me check. I'm running to my...
It's like 100%.
Yeah, but let me see here. Let me check. Okay, the humidity right now is 55%, 0.73.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous.
But you're not here as always.
Yeah, someday. Actually, I got to get there before you guys sink into the ocean.
Well, that's true, and you guys got earthquake. I missed the California earthquakes, though. I used to live out there for 10 years.
Earthquakes are fun if you don't die.
That's true.
And the house doesn't fall down and things don't burst into flame. But if you it's like a thrill ride. It's like you're on a roller coaster and you didn't even get in line.
I saw your videos there. I couldn't believe it. The whole station was shaking. Goodness.
Okay, so that's a little deceptive. I'm playing back. We have drop cams all over the Brick House, the Tech Guy Lab studios. And the one that is in my office is pretty firmly attached. But then the one I showed at the end, that's just a camera sitting on a desk. The house wasn't shaking. It was the camera because it was just sitting on a desk. It made it look like there was a bad earthquake.
Oh.
There was a bad earthquake, but it wasn't that bad here.
Yeah.
What can I do for you?
Well,
I'm having a little bit of a problem, and I really don't seem to understand how it's supposed to work, but I got a Wi-Fi issue in my house sometimes. I got the AT&T Uverse services, and I have the main time capsule in the bedroom. I have not the new one like you do, but the one before that.
Yeah.
I have 2 Expresses. Now, I have one in my living room, one on my desk in my office. Apple says don't put any more, because if you do, it's going to cause a problem. And as it is, having 3 could be causing, competing problems.
Where do you see that? Did you call Apple and they told you that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they said don't put any more in your house. I was going to throw one in my kitchen, in my half bathroom, in my other bathroom, but they said, 3 is enough. And I said, well, that's not what you guys said.
That doesn't sound right. So are you doing, when you install those Airport Expresses, you say extend the airport network, right?
Yes.
I don't see why it would cause a problem. When you say extend, that means they're on the same channel. I can understand if all 3 were running on, different internet connections, they might interfere with one another, but they're all on the same channel. One's passing off the next one. I don't know of a limit to this. This is something called WDS, or the Wireless Distribution System. And as far as I know...
not all on the same channel, though. That's the problem. If the main one is on channel 9 or 11, this one in the living room could be on channel 1. This one over here could be on channel 4. Okay. You can't change that later.
Yeah, if they're on different channels, in theory you have 11 channels, but really each channel is a center channel and 2 sideband channels. So in effect, Wi-Fi really only has kind of 3 fundamental channels. And so that's probably where that limit comes from. If each one has to, that makes sense. I didn't know how Apple implemented it. So each one is on a separate channel. That kind of makes sense. That means that you would start having channel collisions when you put the 4th one in.
Yes. And another problem, too, is that I'm looking at right now on my Mac is that the one in the bedroom, the main airport, has got the Apple TV, the iMac, which is in the living room, and the living room Apple TV. It just seems to choose at random each one of these. You can't change that either.
No, it's going to choose whatever it thinks is strongest.
Okay. What should I do? Should I get the new time capsule? Would that make a difference?
Well, one thing you could do if you had a dual band router is you could operate at 5 gigahertz for some things. That would eliminate the collision, or it'd give you a 4th channel in effect. I'd never really thought about this, but yeah, if that's how Apple implements its WDS, and this is part of the problem with WDS is the spec is very loose, so different manufacturers do different things. If Apple's doing it that way with separate channels for each extender, you're going to run out. And you can do it, but you'll have collisions. The trick is to get the channels that are overlapping as far apart as possible. So if your access point is on channel 1, you don't use channel 1 again until you're more than 100 feet away. Then it wouldn't be so bad. I mean, look, we all live in a world where there's Wi-Fi congestion. It's very hard nowadays, unless you live, on 3 acres, to find a free channel. If you use a Wi-Fi sniffer here in our studios, there's about 20 access points. It's very hard to find a clear channel. So it's not that it won't work. It's not that it won't work. It's just that it will get less reliable.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about that.
Have you tried it?
I've tried a couple, not the sniffer you talked about.
No, but I mean, have you put a 4th Airport Express in?
No, I haven't, because Apple says don't go ahead and do that, because then you're going to really have problems. And it's like,
I would try it and see. I don't know if that's the case. It may not be as good as if you didn't.
Well, that's true. You're not going to know until you try. But now
IO Geek in our chat room says he's done 7 of them in one house and he hasn't had a problem. So I'd say go ahead and get another one. This is a great solution, really. If you have a spread out area, or you're having trouble with connectivity in one part of the house, maybe because the walls have metal in them or because they're so distant from the access point, you can put in extenders. And so the trick is to use the extender made by the same company that made the access point, because there's some slop in how this stuff is implemented. So if you've got an Apple access point, go ahead and get an Apple's. It doesn't call them extenders, but that's what the Airport Express. They just they actually plug into the wall. They sit in the wall. They can do that. But by the way, you can use any airport device from Apple as an extender, because on the app in Apple's case, all you do is you go into the settings and say, use this device to extend my existing network. You get the choice: create a new network or extend the existing. Extend the existing, and then it's just a repeater. Linksys makes them. So if you have a Linksys access point, get the Linksys repeaters, etc., etc. Sometimes they call them extenders. It does, in fact, add to the congestion, I guess, but, Wi-Fi is surprisingly robust given how much noise there is going on. It's not just your Wi-Fi access point either. That 2.4 gigahertz band is jammed with all sorts of stuff. Baby monitors, microwave ovens, cordless phones. It's unregulated, so anybody can use it. That's why sometimes getting a dual band router and running it at 5 gigahertz is good, because 5 gigahertz is not as crowded yet. And AC will help. The new Wi-Fi standard 802.11 AC does some interesting things to eliminate congestion, like something called beam forming. It actually aims at your laptop. 8888 Ask Leo. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. More calls right after this. AC is dual band. Chris Marquardt, a good day to you. Guten Tag, as they say in your land.
Guten Tag. So your Earth shook. It didn't shake here.
You're how many, 4,000 miles away? If it shook there, we'd be in trouble. That'd be a bad sign.
Yeah, last earthquake I remember was last year in Japan.
Yeah.
It shakes a lot there.
Yeah, some people don't like earthquakes. It is, it's one of those things where you're so used to the ground being solid that when it's not, it could be disconcerting, to say the least.
I think I was in 3 earthquakes throughout my lifetime, and all of them were kind of disconcerting. Yep.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk photography today, as always. Chris is a professional photographer. He's got great seminars. He has stuff online, too, like discoverlightroom.com, where you can learn the ins and outs of perhaps the best program for photographers, certainly one I love. What's new? What do you want to talk about today?
Well, you remember the last couple of episodes, the last couple of weeks, we talked about some gear, some photo gear, and I thought we might want to continue a bit down that road because I get lots of questions about different aspects of photo accessories, camera accessories, stuff like camera protection and cleaning the camera.
Always glad to spend more money on photography. Sure.
I'm not going to try to sell you anything, but maybe sort things out a bit. So today, I think one thing I want to talk about is carrying your camera, straps and things like that. So, there are three different kinds of factions there. People who love hand straps, people who love neck straps, like the good old neck strap that every camera comes with. And then there are the more new one, the diagonal straps. And then there are some outliers of different systems. So I just want to briefly go over those and just point out the differences. What kind of a camera photo person are you? What do you do when you
use the strap that came in the box with the camera? Call me crazy, but it comes with a strap.
You pretty much advertise what kind of a camera you have and what brand you're loyal to.
Yeah, and it is kind of, it might as well just say steal me when it's the high end, the Canon EOS 5D Mark II.
Some of them even put like the camera model on there, so every
Canon
thief will immediately know what.
Well, you know what you're getting
if
when
it's
you steal.
worth stealing that thing. Yeah. So I'm actually not a fan of that. For those who want the camera always ready, I highly recommend a hand strap or wrist strap. There are like simple hand straps you get for a couple of bucks. There are wrist straps that you kind of lock around your wrist and then attach to the camera. And this way you can always have the camera ready and be kind of on the safe side from dropping it or even getting it pulled out of your hand. So if you want to have the camera always ready, that's a recommendation there.
Tony, who works for me as one of our editors, is a big photographer, and he gave me a kind of a cool strap. It screws into the threaded bottom of the camera where you put a tripod, and then it's like you can zip the you're carrying the camera on your hip and you can zip it up real quickly.
Might probably be what's called an R strap. There's also a German company who makes similar ones called Sun Sniper, and those are those diagonal straps that are getting really popular. It's like you have the camera hanging on your side, and then you just slide it up along this thing, along this strap, and those are getting quite popular.
The one he gave me is from a company called Black Rapid.
Black Rapid R strap. Yep, that's
strap,
the one.
Yeah.
And
it's
I think the most popular one right now.
You look like a gunslinger a little bit.
Well, if you want to be a real gunslinger, I would recommend you go for one of those outliers, which is, well, I call it an outlier. It's called the Spider holster. It attaches to your belt, or actually it comes with a belt, so it attaches. It's a kind of a lock system that you attach to the bottom of your camera, and then you have this other thing, and you click it in to the side of you, and it hangs there like a gun. And it comes with, there are different models where you can have like 2 of them, one on the left and one on the right. I guess some professional photographers might have a use for that. I personally don't really. Another one that, back to the neck strap area, the one that I sometimes use is called Optech, Op/Tech USA. That's a company from the States who make a system that you can pretty much mix and match. You attach ends to the camera, and then you attach a neck strap piece or a different kind of thing if you want to attach it to like a backpack or something. Quite flexible system. There's another one, again, more from the outlier area. It's called the capture clip, which is one that attaches to like a strap of a backpack, and then again, you have a kind of a tripod plate under the camera, and you click it into that thing, and it kind of locks there. So you can have the camera hanging off of like one side of a backpack and the other strap of a backpack. And then there's one that I've seen a while ago. I think it's also from the States, called the Cotton Carrier. Doesn't have anything to do with cotton. It's, I think, the guy who makes them. That's his name, and it's pretty much a harness that you put on. Like almost like one of those Steadicam harnesses, you put this on, and then you can hang all sorts of things off of it. And maybe in a studio with lots of changes and things, that is something that I might look into. But for the regular shooter, I still would go either for a hand strap or a wrist strap, or for one of those diagonal ones, or for a regular strap.
I actually like those Optex because they're very comfortable. They have a thick band around the back of your neck, and it's
a neoprene band,
yeah.
And it has little anti-slip dots on it, so it doesn't slip off your shoulder. I have like sloping shoulders, so those straps usually slide off my shoulders, and this one doesn't. It just stays where it is.
Here's a question for the professional photographer. Most of us amateurs, we wear the camera around our neck, so it's banging on our belly right there, and you can put it up and down. And pros always seem to have it on their shoulder. Why is that?
Well, I personally don't like it because it starts hurting my neck. If I have any weight hanging off of my neck, it just doesn't feel well.
Right.
And especially when you look at pros who still tend to have the heavier cameras, you have a much heavier load hanging off of your neck. So shoulder is okay. And if I use one of those neck straps and I hang it off my shoulder, then sometimes I use that as a wrist strap just by wrapping it around my hand a couple of times, and then hold the camera, and it's still kind of safe enough to not drop
If you want to get rid of the free advertising and you want a strap that's more comfortable, I think the Optex they're very inexpensive. They're $5, $10, $15, $20. They're not outrageous. I bought one, and I actually, believe it or not, I bought like 5 different kinds. I read on a forum. I went to a photography forum, looked at all the different opinions. I got a few different kinds of straps just to see which one I like. And I ended up liking the least expensive, I think, which was the Optech. The best.
I actually use that when hiking in the Himalayas because, these 2 little straps you attach to the camera. I had the same ones attached to the backpack straps. So that allowed me to kind of click it into the backpack straps, and the camera would hang in front of me, but it was always there. It was never in the way, and I could just click it off and then just attach those 2 short straps to each other and have like a little short strap on the camera, and that I like that mix and match system.
You wouldn't believe how much energy photographers spend on this particular subject. It seems like it's completely irrelevant, but then you go to a football game and you see the professional sports photographer. He's got 8 cameras slung around him, and the strap becomes kind of an important part of the accessorizing, right?
It does,
a comfortable strap, an easy disconnect, which is what you're talking about, those plastic push connectors.
Those clicky things.
Yeah. It's nice to have that because you can quickly take one off and switch it around and so forth. One of the chatters says he likes Think Tank Photos straps. They make some nice straps.
Oh, they make awesome gear too. They make great gear. They make great bags and things.
You see, you get into photography, it costs you a lot of money. We didn't get to talk about the assignment, but I'll tell you what it is. We'll be reviewing it soon. Chris Marquardt at discoverlightroom.com. Yeah, so that's the other thing. You start to get really right stuff, and think tank photo in your brain, and now you start ordering all sorts of crap from them, and oh man.
Yeah, and you start and you never stop.
You never.
The current
ever...
assignment is upside down, by the way.
Upside down. Good. I won't keep you around. I'll do that.
That's
for
cool.
you. Thank you, Chris.
I might not be there next week, but I'll drop you a quick note if I know more.
Okay. Either way,
all right.
That's fine. Thanks, Chris.
All right.
See you later. Our show today brought to you by my buddies Prosper, Silicon Valley's answer to the bank loan. Why go into a bank, put on a tie, hat in hand? Please, sir, can I have some cash? When you could borrow as much as $35,000 and get it within 3 days at Prosper.com. Prosper is a peer-to-peer lending solution. The idea of Prosper is they bring together people who have money to lend with people who need to borrow. Just that simple. If you had $35,000 in the next 72 hours, what would you do? Would you pay off high interest rate credit cards? You should. That'd be a good thing to do. Do that home improvement you've been putting off. You know what I want to do? I want to build a pizza oven in the backyard. Oh, man. I was over at Mike Elgin's, my friend's, last night. He made pizza. Oh, my goodness. This wood fire. Anyway, the mind reels. You could even start a business with Prosper.com. Prosper offers low, fixed rate. Yes, it's fixed rate, unsecured personal loans. You can get multi-year terms, absolutely. And if you want to know what the loan's going to cost you right now, you can go to Prosper.com and fill out a simple online application. It will not affect your credit score, and you'll instantly get your rate online. So you'll know what it's going to cost you to get that money. Prosper, it's Silicon Valley's answer to personal loans, peer-to-peer lending. It's brilliant. They have more than 2 million members. They've done 95,000 loans for over $1 billion. Wow. Visit prosper.com/twit and you can check your rate right now. Prosper.com/twit. And when you get that loan for a limited time, Prosper's offering Twit viewers a $50 Visa prepaid card. Go to Prosper, prosper.com/twit, special site just for you. Get up to $35,000 in as little as 3 days and $50 Visa prepaid card too by visiting prosper.com/twit. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888. Ask Leo. That's the phone number, website. And it's important. Keep this around because if you hear something and you want the link or whatever, is techguylabs.com. We'll put links to all the different camera straps. You know, if Chris had said to me, hey, Leo, I want to talk about camera straps today, I would have laughed. But, you know, when I started thinking about it, that's an important thing, camera straps. Well, maybe not that important. Mark, iDoc Mark on the line.
Hey, hi, Leo.
Leo.ninja.
Leo.ninja.
It's not available.
I'm sitting here on hold for about an hour listening to you guys, but when you got to Chris, it was perfect because I've been editing pictures from the Gray Fox Bluegrass Festival where I'm one of the staff photographers.
Oh, fun.
Remembering the pain in my neck from my EOS 20 hanging over my neck, but I don't have enough shoulder to hold up anything I hang over just my shoulder.
See, a good strap is very important.
You bet. I have two subjects, at least let me get to the first.
All right.
We put my daughter in school last week. Classes start tomorrow, I guess. Fashion Institute of Technology. It's a SUNY college in New York City.
FIT is great. Yes. That's awesome. And congratulations.
Thanks. We're excited. She's excited.
Is she going to be a designer?
Well, she's mostly wants communications. And she was sold on big city and on a field that lets her travel after her 1 year as an exchange student in Germany.
Yeah, fun.
She loved it. So, printers. The school says you don't need printers. They have printers.
Almost all universities now have, of course, Wi-Fi networks because you need to be online. And almost all universities, in fact, I don't know of one that doesn't, has a printer attached or two. Usually they're in the library, but there are other locations. A lot of dorms now have printers, one per floor. In some cases, those printers are free, but in most cases, you pay for them with your student bucks.
And that's why she would love a printer if she can get one. I have done well with my brother laser printers. I'm thinking for her mostly black and white because most of what we print also is black.
Yeah, she's going to do reports. Yeah, lasers are faster and cheaper per page, and they also last longer. You don't have to change the toner cartridges if you get a good one You don't have to change the toner cartridges as often, which is a good thing because they're expensive.
No, we've done pretty well with Brother, and I was thinking of just drop shipping her from Amazon a black one.
I think that's fine. I mean, I've used Epson, I've used HP, and I've never used Brother. Brother was the first low-cost laser printer. Remember when laser printers came out, the Apple laser writer? It was $5,000 or something. It was very expensive. And for a long time, laser printers were very, very expensive. They've gotten now so inexpensive that a lot of people, if you're not considering photo printing or you can do color lasers, but they're not as good as inkjet. If you're doing black and white printing, which most people are, especially students, a laser printer is an excellent choice.
That would cover most of her needs, I figure. And she can always use the schools for other things.
Yeah, when she needs a color printout, when she has her beautiful design that she wants, you know, a 14 by 19 color printout, well, that's nice because the school has all that stuff.
Thanks. Yeah. I have a Drobo, and it's been popping up red for every drive. And I figured, well, they're years old. So I bought a couple of new drives. I pop them in it. They're also coming up red as if they're not right.
Well, I don't know on that one. The Drobo is an interesting idea. It's an enclosure that uses a non-standard, a proprietary kind of RAID technique that allows you to hot swap drives in and out, rebuilds the RAID. But if you're getting red, it means it doesn't like that drive. And if no matter what you no matter what you put in, that sounds like a Drobo problem. But I'm not an expert on that. I don't know.
Okay. If I'm going to go out and buy an enclosure for these drives that I just got.
Don't go Drobo. Go something that uses standard RAID 5, in my opinion, like a Synology. Synology makes excellent consumer RAID or NAS storage.
Synology spelled?
Synology. I think they're very good. I use Ready NAS. Netgear now owns them. They're very nice. Drobo's fine. Drobo was a big deal when it came out because no consumer grade RAID solution was available, but now there's a lot of strongly competitive solutions. And one thing Drobo's never done very well is network. It originally was just a massive USB drive. Then they had the ability to add Drobo Share, which wasn't I thought, not very well implemented. Drobo's got a lot of attention because of their very good marketing. Less so because of their very good technology, in my opinion. They were all the rage, but I think RAID is better with someone else. Thank you for the call. Good to talk to you, iDoc Mark. George is in Colorado Springs. Hi, George.
Hi, Emmanuel. Great to talk to you.
It's great to talk to you. What can I do for you?
I've got a early 2009 iMac, and I've been using Safari on this machine. And it's been pretty solid for me until the last couple of months when I run into some errors that I can't determine the origin of.
Well, tell me what's happening.
The error comes up randomly, and it says Safari web content quit unexpectedly.
Ah.
And then and I guess this report goes to Apple, and there's pages and pages of.
Let me tell you the standard. I can't tell what's wrong from here, but the standard things to do when you have a problem like this. First thing, because it's saying Safari, is to clear your web history, clear your web cache. You could do that from the Safari menu, the preferences. The cache may contain something that's crashing it. Remember, all browsers will save data downloaded from the internet to speed up your surfing in the future, including images, web pages, all sorts of stuff. If that gets damaged, then from time to time, that corrupted file gets loaded by Safari. Safari is going to crash. So that's the first thing to do. You should also run, it's in the utilities folder, in your applications folder. It's called the disk utility. Run that and repair permissions, repair the disk. This is a nice little tool. It's something everybody who uses Mac should know about. It's got an ability to verify the disk, to repair the disk, and then repair the permissions. That can fix it too. If none of that fixes it, it continues to happen, you may want to get a new hard drive, or at least reformat the hard drive and reinstall the operating system. Sometimes, as hard drives fail, little glitches like this work their way in. If you can't fix it with these normal procedures, that might be the best thing to do. The good news is the next version of OS X is coming out very soon. Mavericks, they just shipped not Mavericks, Yosemite. They just shipped. Thank you. He says, what? No, Not Mavericks, Yosemite. Yeah, they just shipped. It's good to have a studio audience to keep me honest. They just shipped Developer Preview 2. It's a public beta, so anybody can try it. And it feels very solid, feels very reliable. I think probably within a few weeks, you'll see that release of the next version of OS X. And that would be worth installing, even on a 2009 Mac. They've added some nice features, especially if you use iOS. If you use an iPhone or an iPad, the features that the new operating system Yosemite offers will be very nice, I think. You, for instance, make phone calls from your desktop computer using your iPhone. It's really great. And that's another way to fix things. Just erase the operating system, put the new one on. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk about computers, the internet, home theater, smartphones, digital photography, the San Francisco 49ers, and all. Whoop, I snuck that in. No, we won't talk about football. But we will talk about anything to do with technology. Actually, you know, the new 49ers stadium, what are they calling it? They still have some sort of like the wired stadium. It's like super high-tech, except it's not. It's sort of high-tech. They got Wi-Fi. Whoa. Hey, woo, boo, boo. And you can order from your seat. I've seen that before, right? Okay, here's one thing that's kind of high-tech. You can watch an instant replay on your iPad. That's kind of high-tech. Although, again, if you're watching the game on a TV on your iPad, using a Slingbox or something like that, you can see the instant replays that way, too. You'd have to do something really special to make it a high-tech stadium. It is in Silicon Valley, though. Well, there we go. Let's move on. More phone calls. Brian is on the line. Charlestown, Indiana. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. Hi, how are you, Brian? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing fine, and my lighting system is haunted.
Well, we were talking because during the earthquake, we have drop cams all over the studio. Those are these little remote security cameras. They record to the internet the whole time, so we were going back to 321 this morning when there was a 6.1 earthquake, not so far away, about 30 miles away. It shook. So we were looking at the footage, and the studios did pretty well. Nothing fell down or anything. But there was an odd thing happening in my office. A light came on during the earthquake and then went off. And we can't, for the light, we know what the light is, we think, but we can't figure out why it went on and then went off. So that's the strange. Maybe it's emergent. I don't think it's emergency lighting. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a ghost, right?
I guess. I have a Hue lighting system.
Oh, now, see? I love Hue. Not you. I love Hue.
Yeah, the Hue, Philips Hue lighting system.
Philips Hue, that guy, yeah.
But randomly, it likes to go totally blue.
Oh, really?
And I can't understand why. I mean, I've got it hooked up to my iPad 3. That's what I do most of the controlling with.
Hue has an. So let's explain what these are. These are LED lights from Philips, and they're kind of cool because they have inside. You can't tell because it's frosted. It just looks like a regular spotlight, but you could screw it into almost any light 60 watt light bulb socket. But inside it has 3 LEDs: red, green, and blue. Well, that means you can combine them in any proportion to make any color of the rainbow. And so this is really cool. The Hue app on the iPad or the iPhone or the Android phone lets you not only pick some things, some standard settings like sunset and early morning. You can have it bright white or dim yellow. But you can also take a photograph and say, I like that color, and it will duplicate that color from the photograph. But you're saying your lights spontaneously just change without you doing anything.
Right. Now, I do have it set up to turn on when I come in home, come to home, and they turn on, and when I leave, they turn off.
That's neat. And you do that with a motion sensor?
No, I think it's GPS.
Oh, I get it. So the software's doing that.
Right. And I've also got software on my phone that listens to music and will change the colors as well.
That's the one I'd worry about.
Okay, well, it's the Hue Pro on my Galaxy Note 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't use that whole lot. It's just...
I've never had this happen. The one thing that I noticed with the Hues is that when the power goes out and then comes back on, the Hues come on full bright.
Oh, yeah.
And I had them in my bedroom and didn't know that. And I'm in the middle of the night, the power went out and it came back on, and the lights are on in my bedroom, and I didn't turn them on. So that was not so good. But
this is a random thing.
I don't know what that would be.
Turns totally blue.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have an answer for you. You might go, do the Hue, go to the Hue website. Do they have forums there?
Yeah, and there's been mention of it.
Has there? All right.
But no real solutions yet.
I just got some new Hue bulbs. These are the Hue Lux bulbs, and I'm not exactly sure what's.
Yeah, it looks like that's what I've got.
Yeah, I don't know how these are different from my old bulbs. I guess they have. I don't know.
Yeah,
anyway,
that's exactly what I've got.
Yeah, the Hue Lux.
What you're showing on your.
Yeah, and then you get the base station that you connect to your internet, and then you can use If This Then That or other things. This adheres to a home.
I also have IFTTT on
IFT, yeah. If This Then That is great. Yeah.
When I get an email or something,
right?
But I didn't tell it to turn totally blue at random.
Yeah. But it can go back to the normal colors, right?
Oh yeah, I could tell it to. Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know. Maybe somebody listening does. I haven't. If you found on the forums that others are doing that. Oh, I see. These Lux bulbs don't do the other colors, Dr. Mom says. They just go to white. But yours do other colors or not?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Every color in the rainbow.
That seems like that's the point of it. I guess these are just bulbs you can turn off or on, I guess. Yeah. Well, oh, and they're dimmable. That's nice. So that's one thing Hue is different about, and the Lux, I guess, is their response to that. The regular Hue lights, the red, green, blue lights, you can't dim. You have to dim them in the application. You can't just use a dimmer on them. These are standard white lights. They're a soft white light that you can dim as well as personalize with your iPhone. So that's what's new. And there aren't super complicated settings on this one. It's much simpler. I don't know what the answer is. Somebody listening might. Why does my Hue turn blue spontaneously? You might want to. Huh? Oh, there's firmware. That's right. Yeah, check. Make sure you get the latest firmware. Your bulb now has firmware. Who'da thunk it? So make sure your bulb has the latest. How do you update it from the app, don't you? Yeah. That's right. There's a firmware in that. Also, you might check your alarms. I mean, if you set an alarm and you forgot about it, maybe there's some setting that you had. You might temporarily turn off all the settings, all the if this then that scripts, see if any of them are doing it. Joe in the Port of Los Angeles, or Louisiana, Port of L.A. Which is it? Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Joe.
Hi, Joe. Hi, Joe.
I'm Leo. You're Joe.
Okay. See what happens.
Hello, Joe. Wait, it's the Port of L.A.?
Yeah, I'm sitting on my sailboat.
Oh, you're in a boat. Wow.
Yes, right as we speak.
That's awesome. Is it a gorgeous day in the harbor?
Absolutely spectacular.
So jealous. The day that I can do this show on a boat is the day we're getting on a boat.
Well, come on down. I've got room for you.
Do they have marine internet yet that is decent? I mean, obviously, if you're close to shore, no problem.
Yeah, I haven't been able to find it. If you go, I had an experience on a cruise ship where I bought
it's terrible.
A block of time, and what they didn't tell you when you bought it is unless you go through 4 different pages, you don't log off, and it just ate up the time.
It's terrible.
It was gone,
and they're using something in many cases called Inmarsat. That's a big dish satellite, and it's typically 1.5 megabits per ship. So if you've got 1,000 people on that internet, you're not going anywhere, buddy. You have to get up early. I used to get up at 3 in the morning to do my internet.
Yeah, but
so the minute they come up with a high-speed internet, I am getting. We're getting in the boat, Heather, and we're sailing away, and we're going to do this show from a boat.
Amen.
Hang on, Joe. I got to get to your question after the break. Leo Laporte. I'm on a boat. The tech guy. Yeah, have you updated the firmware on your light? What a world. Even my light bulb is a little computer now. That's amazing. No, but there's always something new, right? Low Tech, I've been here 3 years. I'm getting bored. I've always wanted, look, I would do this show. I'm thinking for retirement. I just want to be able to sail around the world in my little trawler. I don't think so, Bill. First of all, we're not sure which light. We think it's the big light above me, the big, but we don't know. It's not stuck. It just glows blue.
Wait, if we do the show on a boat, are you the skipper and I'm Gilligan? Wait, you're the professor.
I'm the professor. You're Mary Ann.
You're also
Lisa's
Thurston
Ginger.
Howell. Okay.
And I'm Thurston Howell. I'm all of them. I'm even Gilligan. No, Needles is Gilligan.
Totally.
This is all I'm waiting for technology to progress to the point where I can do this show in the middle of the ocean on a boat. Nathan, you have to stay ashore to spin the tunes. Probably. Although, hey, there's no reason you couldn't be, if it's a big enough boat, no reason you couldn't be on the boat too. Anyway, that's where Joe is. He's on a boat. So, Joe, what can I do to help you?
Well, I've been a victim of Hughes internet for about a year and a half, and I'm moving onto my boat, and though the call center says, "Oh, we can move your dish over to your boat," and I said, "No, you can't," and but they insist. And
sure, they can. Why wouldn't they be able to?
Well, because it moves. It rocks all the time.
Yeah, I mean, if it's okay, so you've seen RVs that have dishes on them, DirecTV or Hughes satellite. It's the same, right. And what they do is when they stop, you can't use it while you're driving, of course not. But when you stop, you raise the mast, you aim the dish, because you're right, it has to be aimed pretty accurately, and then you can get your internet or your television signal. So if you're just in the middle of the harbor and rotating, yeah, you're going to lose the signal.
Yeah.
I imagine a little rocking might be okay, but it's not going to be. It's not what you want. Look around the yacht harbor. You see anybody with a dish?
No, there's occasional, TV dishes, but I don't know how they work. And I know for a fact I lived out where it was real windy.
Yeah.
After a good windstorm in the Banning Pass.
Yeah.
They'd have to call service out. They'd have to move it a fraction.
Yeah, so that's not going to work. So for people who, 86% of the United States gets their internet from their cable company or their phone company. That's because most homes in the United States, except for the most rural areas, have a cable line in there, which is a very, very big fat pipe. It not only brings you television, but can bring you very high-speed internet. And then they also have their phone lines in there. And if you're close enough to the central office, within a couple of miles of the phone office, you can also get high-speed internet through that.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have those two copper pipes into your house, or if you're really lucky, a fiber pipe into your house, or you're on a boat where there's no physical connection, then you're going to have to do something wireless. Satellite's one choice, and I agree. I don't think it's the ideal choice for anything that's moving. The other choice would be your cell phone network.
Yeah, that's what I've got Verizon. I'm on my iPhone right now, and I have an iPad.
It should be fine. Do you have an iPad with a Verizon connection?
Yeah.
And it works, right?
Yeah, and probably my option right now will be to use a hotspot. When I do use my laptop here and do my work on it.
You could, in fact, if you pay Verizon, use your iPad. It makes an excellent hotspot. because it's got so much battery, and you can even move it around, although if you keep it plugged in, you don't have to worry about it. The only issue on hotspotting versus getting like one of these MiFi boxes, they will sell you something that just, sits plugged in and is a Wi-Fi access point that gets its data from LTE, from the Verizon network. Those usually are faster than hotspotting, and I'm not sure why. There must be some overhead and handshaking in the hotspotting, but I've found when I use a computer connected to the phone, it's not as fast as when I use a computer connected to a MiFi or something similar. But I think that's going to be the choice. Now, of course, it'll only work when you're near land.
Yeah, but I guess they have, years ago they didn't, but now they have cell sites on Catalina.
Oh, great.
Cover the area, but I'm looking forward to canceling all my satellite services and not that. So
I think now the LTE networks have gotten sophisticated enough, fast enough. There's enough data going to the... Remember that you're sharing the data with everybody else on that cell site, but they're putting enough out there now, thanks to the LTE upgrades, that actually is an excellent choice. In many cases, as fast or faster than a landline internet choice. So it's more expensive. That's it. That's the only drawback. They have lower bandwidth caps. Typically 5 gigs. You can get more, but it gets more expensive if you do.
I'm trying to get the marina owner to put Wi-Fi in here.
That would be a great thing to do.
Cable.
Yeah, he could do that.
And
he'd make him the most popular marina in the area.
That's true. And none of them have it, and they're so far behind here that they don't even take credit cards yet.
Oh, well, maybe you got a way to go then.
I got a way to go.
They take wooden nickels. I do think that rapidly access to the internet is becoming not a luxury but a necessity. It's just yesterday we were visiting friends, and they live in the country, and they don't have. I couldn't get internet access through my phone, and I have become so spoiled, and I bet many of you are the same way, that I was trying to remember a name or a store, something. And normally I just go on the phone, go on the internet, look it up, and within seconds I'd have that information. It wouldn't be frustrating. It's extremely frustrating. I couldn't look it up. It was like the old days when you had to remember stuff. I don't like it. I'm spoiled. I am spoiled. Verizon's product is called Home Fusion, and I bet you they have a Boat Fusion too. And I'm told that they do price it better than they would using your cell phone as a hotspot or even a MiFi card. So talk to Verizon about their Home Fusion product. The chat room's giving me a link from a site called Ars Technica on why bother. There was a study that says, why bother to remember when you can just use Google? Instant access to information via the internet may be negatively impacting our memory, according to the authors of a paper released by Science Express. 4 experiments have resulted in the conclusion that people are recalling information less. Instead, they just remember where they can find it on the internet. Yeah, of course. You needed to do a study? Why fill my head with silly facts when I could just Google it? The authors pose one simple example. Ask yourself, how many countries have flags with only one color? Now, regardless of the answer, was your first thought, I'm thinking of flags? Or was your first thought, I wonder where I could find that out? In the old days, you'd actually say, well, let me think. China's red, flags of one color. No, nowadays you go home. What would be the Google search term for that? Right? That's what you think of. And what the heck is wrong with that, I ask you? That's what we're teaching our kids. They don't have to memorize the presidents. They just look it up. It's on Wikipedia. It's called transactive memory, believe it or not. This has been going on for more than just the internet era. In any time there's a group of people in group environments, people will rely on the sum of the information held by the group instead of just what you know. Think of it as a group of experts working in a team. Well, hello, transactive memory. I've been using that for years. That's what the chat room's for. 8888 Ask Leo. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. This is a great article. Love this art. I am going to... I'm going to make this a twit topic. What is this, 471? Thank you for that link. That is awesome. See, that's perfect. That's what another thing the article came to that conclusion, WebS, is that they asked people to remember something, and some people wrote it down, but most people said, well, as long as I remember that I can Google it. And that's exactly what he did with that article. He remembered reading it. He'd never bookmarked it, but he searched for it, and of course, boom, you can find it like that. We owe Google a lot. Lytton Strachey's Feminine Victorians. Is that on Audible? I doubt it. No damage to the Twit Studios. I don't think it's lazy or stupid. I think it's great. You remember the stuff you need to remember, which is mostly personal stuff, not global stuff. Dr. Mom said, oh, well, that's all well and good, but what happens when the power goes out? You know, usually when the power goes out, I don't need to remember the name of Woody Allen's 5th movie. I just can give that one up. So remember the stuff that you'll need when the power goes out, for sure. The names of your children, probably. You don't want to be Googling that. Oh, hey, wait, what's your name? Let me look that up. And in fact, I think this is good because it means there's more room in your brain to remember personal stuff that's yours, that's not on the internet, and you don't have to remember stuff that we can hold collectively, you know, like the year the Magna Carta was signed. It's in my head, but do I really need to know that? I don't have a problem with this at all. I think let's put on let's store on the global repository of all knowledge anything we don't, have to remember. Why should kids memorize, all those dates or the presidents in order when you could just look it up? 8888 Ask Leo, you agree? Maybe you disagree. Bruce in Irvine, California. You're next. Hi, Bruce. Leo Laporte here.
Leo, how are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Well, I'm a little bit confused right now because I was listening to all your talk about the recall and everything. I forgot what I called you for. But
look at Google it.
But I've got my iPad here. Calling Leo Laporte. Oh, there it is.
Well, I'll give you a good example. I don't remember phone numbers anymore. I don't need to. They're in my phone.
Yeah, a friend of mine was talking about it. She got a phone number. She goes, oh, I was trying to get a really good phone number. I go, why? Nobody's going to remember it.
No one needs to know it anymore. They call you by name.
Yeah.
The phone figures out the number.
Yeah, we lose our phone or it crashes or something. You go, oh, my gosh, you contact all your friends. Give me your phone number again. Yeah.
Oh, that would be bad. But that's why you got to have backup.
Yeah.
But seriously, I don't even know my well, actually, I do know my own number. But a lot of people, you see this all. People, I'll say, what's your number? They go, I don't know. Let me look at my phone.
Yeah, let me call you.
Let me call you. That's what you do now, right? I'll call you from my phone, then it'll be in your phone.
Exactly. That's how I do it.
We don't need to know numbers. Our phones do.
Yeah. Well, that's what they get the big bucks for.
Yeah, I don't mind. It's worth it to me. I love it.
I don't mind. I don't want to clutter my brain up. I want to remember the best lines from Gilligan's Island. I don't want to remember.
There's more important stuff like that.
That's right. There is.
Little buddy, what can I do for you?
Well, I'm a pilot up in Alaska.
Ooh. And, are you a bush pilot?
Bush pilot. Yeah, I'm doing bush pilot. I've been flying there since last summer.
Oh, cool.
And it's been great. I'm really enjoying it. And the thing is, there isn't a direction you can't turn that isn't beautiful.
I bet.
And I've got some incredible pictures.
I envy pilots anyway, because no matter where you are, when you're flying, the sunsets, the clouds, just everything looks beautiful. Yeah. I think it's just to me, that's why I would love to learn to fly, is just the view.
It's an easy thing to do.
I know. We have a staff member who's a pilot, and he keeps saying, will you come up with me in my Cessna? And I keep saying, no way. ever. But that's just me. I'd go with you. You're a professional. You're a trained professional.
Yeah, but flying will never be safe as long as you have to drive to the airport.
Good line. Do you land on water? Do you have like a...
I don't. I'd love to do that, but no, I don't do that. I fly the regular fixed gear, and I land in little dirt strips in some places and regular runways. And
wow.
And it's been really fun. I kind of had a real slump in my business down here in Southern California, and I got an opportunity to go up there. I said, I've always wanted to fly there, so I've been up there for a year now. And when things turn, I'll probably still fly up there, but I'll still have my business.
I think it's wonderful. We live in a world where you can do that. Maurice Sendak, the great children's author, once told me that. He said every 10 years you should change your career. And he was, of course, one of the most renowned children's author, wrote Where the Wild Things Are in the Night Kitchen.
Oh, yeah,
and changed his career, became an opera set designer.
Yeah.
And he said, I just think you should do that to keep yourself fresh.
Get a variety. So I'm learning stuff. I've learned more in the last 6 months of flying than I have in the last 10 years. Yeah. So
I think that's cool. I love that.
But it's been great. It's been great. I'm just loving it up there. But here's the problem I have, though. I'm trying to find a good digital camera, and not just a point and shoot, but maybe a little above that. A good point. Always seeing things, and I've had one of those big giant cameras I borrowed from a friend of mine, a big Nikon and stuff. Like pulling this thing out, I got passengers in the back. It's kind of like, shouldn't you be flying the plane?
I'm busy. I'm taking pictures.
Yeah, hold on. Don't worry. I'll put it up right in a second.
The best point and shoot camera out right now, and it's very compact, very small, but the images are great, is the Sony RX100.
That came up, yeah.
It's expensive. It's $800 for the Mark III, which is the newest, just came out. 1-inch sensor, so that's right there a big improvement over the thumbnail-size sensors of most point-and-shoots.
Oh, okay.
It's got a 1.8 lens, 24 to 70 millimeters, so it's got a pretty good zoom. You'd be able to get some nice shots, but yet wide enough that you'd be able to get the panorama as well. And it's tiny. I mean, it's a point and shoot. It won't look like you've pulled out a pro camera.
Right. Yeah. And I've also used then I started using my iPad, which still took great pictures.
Yeah, that looks dorky, though. I would lose confidence in the pilot if he used his iPad to take a picture. I would,
especially if I'm reading instructions on how to fly.
If you have to Google how to land, you're in trouble, I think.
I know, really. Doesn't anybody have an internet?
Takeoffs are easy. It's getting down.
That's right.
So that's a very good one. Canon makes excellent point and shoots. Don't forget a GoPro. Now, a GoPro wouldn't be what you'd pull out of your pocket, but you could strap it to. Here's the trick. You want to be tricksy. You put a GoPro on the outside of your somewhere securely fixed on the outside of your plane, and then you can control it with your smartphone. So you could have the smartphone in a holder. It looks like, no, I'm checking flight plans, and instead you're pressing take a picture or take a movie.
Yeah, taking a movie, because some of these approaches, there's this place called Cape Romanzoff. It's a radar facility we fly into, and it's this dirt strip on the side of a mountain, and you fly between these two peaks, and it goes uphill. And it's the neatest looking approach. And I said, I wish I had a camera out there to see, because it's really...
I think a GoPro would be a great idea, and you could put that outside the plane so you get a better image.
Yeah, they have brackets and stuff.
Yeah, oh gosh, you can mount a GoPro on anything. Now the GoPro is
drop into the Bering Sea.
Yeah, the GoPro doesn't have telephoto. You're going to get it's pretty much a wide angle camera. You can choose how wide, but it's pretty much a wide angle camera. But I think that's what you'd want in a situation like that.
Well, that's what I'd like to do as an extra camera, something to add to it. But I really want something where I'm looking and I'm seeing this glacier and the sun's coming.
And you want to get a great shot. Yeah, I'd get an RX, the Sony RX. Get the RX 100 Mark III is the latest, but you can still get the Mark II or even probably the Mark I. I have a Mark I. It's a wonderful point and shoot camera. Really great results. And then if you wanted, and neither one of these is super. I mean, the GoPro's less than the Sony. Put that on the outside, and then you got that too. And you could take that picture surreptitiously because you're paying customers. Your passengers won't even know. It looked like I'm entering in the flight plan for air traffic control, and instead you're taking pictures. What a fun thing. And another thing I'd strongly suggest, create a Flickr account or somewhere that public that you post your photos. and let the world see them too, because you're seeing stuff that only you get to see. I would follow you on Google Plus that's a great place for photographers. Google's social network, Google Plus. A lot of photographers put pictures there, and a great place to see those images. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the number. One last segment to go. Stay here. Our show today brought to you by Hover.com. You know about Hover, right? Hover is the place to go for domain name registration. Domain names made simple. That's where all my domain names are kept now. I moved them over from Hover, from other domain registrars, because I just like the clean simplicity of Hover.com. I really like the company. They're Canadian, so they're very nice. and their concierge service really makes it very easy to move all your stuff over. I want you to visit Hover, HOVER.com, and to take a look around. One thing I really appreciate is if you get an idea for a domain name, you can run over to Hover. You can register the domain name. It just takes you seconds because they don't give you all of those upselling things, all the things you have to click. And right now, Hover is having a sale on the new domain name extensions now through September 1st. This is even if you're an existing customer. Every single new domain is deeply discounted. Would you like .club, .ninja? Chris, you should get .ninja because you're stealthy. .guru, just about anything at hover.com. I wonder if I can get Leo.ninja. Boy, that'd be a great domain name. Let's see. Yeah, Leo.democrat. That's on sale. Leo.webcam, Leo.recipes, Leo.holiday on sale. Leo.gripe. Don't see, somebody's going to go out and get that now and gripe about me. Leo.careers, Leo.social, Leo.dating, Leo.boutique. Oh, look at all these. I don't think they've got Leo.ninja though. Leo.florist. These are great. Leo.cheap. Wait a minute. You're saving a lot of money. Look, normally $38.81, just $23.81. That's a big savings, $15 savings. Leo.pink, Leo.blue, Leo.buzz. And also a lot of non-English domains. Leo.football. Goal! So here's the deal. It's really easy to get these domain names. You don't have a lot of upsell. They give you Whois domain privacy automatically for free because they know you want that. They have the valet transfer service, so if you're moving your domains over, it's very easy, and it costs $10, and then they give you an extra year. So that's nice. The Hover also now offers volume discounts. If you're one of those people who registers a lot of domain names at once, they'll give you a discount starting at just 10 domains and going up in value from there. Visit hover.com. 10% off when you use our offer code TTG8 for the Tech Guy 8 August. TTG8 at hover, HOVER.com. Leo.uk, SaintLeo.com is only $14.81. I should get that. But, you know, what was the original one? I wanted Leo Ninja. Somebody's actually got Leo Ninja? That's not available. Which one? Leo. What?
Gangsta.
Gangsta? Can you get that? That would be a great email address. By the way, they do give you email with the. No, they don't currently offer .gangsta. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. The waning hours of the program this week. 8888 Ask Leo, one of our chat room folks, great chat room folks, mentions that his son flies helicopters in Washington State, and he uses the GoPro. I love the GoPro. I've used it for a variety of things. Underwater, you can get underwater housing. Really nice. Really nice, but not as good as a point and shoot or even point and shoot or, of course, a DSLR camera. So it just depends on what your needs are and so forth. Tina in San Diego, California. You're next. Hi, Tina. Leo Laporte here.
Leo. Yay.
Yay.
Excuse me.
Yay, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Yes, please thank you.
What's wrong?
I'm an online software instructor.
Awesome.
And I have a 17-inch Dell laptop that's starting to die and having major malfunction. And I bought a little Asus 10-inch so I could use that while I had the big one in the shop. And I just got a note saying that Asus is corrupted and I have to send it back. And now I'm even getting...
It's like a recall from Asus?
Yes.
And they say something's wrong with the hard drive?
Well, they said that what they advertised it for, the clock speed was wrong.
Oh.
So they're taking it back and going to buy something else.
Well, take your time giving it back until you get your old one back.
Yeah, and so I need to take my new one in, but now I don't have a backup.
Well, I would just say keep it until... You don't have to send it to Asus.
I can't even get it to boot up now.
The Asus?
Yes. One of the problems was the power button.
Oh, so it really was messed up.
It was really
well, good on them for at least saying we're going to fix it.
Yeah.
See, if it was just like, oh, we mislabeled the speed, big deal. Keep it until you feel like you want to send it in, and then you send it in then, and they're obligated to replace it. But if it's also non-functioning, that's another matter. Then I guess you do have to send it back in.
And it's a really cheap Asus. It's very plasticky.
Yeah, you got what you paid for. Nothing.
Yeah. And so I'm looking for something smaller because I love my 17-inch because I usually have to have 2 or 3 windows open at the same time to grade.
Yeah, but that's huge. You don't want to carry that around.
No, I don't. That's why I like the little one as well. If I replace both, what would you recommend? Because now I'm seeing, I got my big one, my 17-inch at Dell, and now I'm hearing bad things about Dell.
No, Dell's fine. I would look at what Intel calls the Ultrabook. This was Intel's response to Apple's MacBook Air. They're thin and light, but they're decent-sized screens. They're not going to be 17 inches. They're going to be 13 inches. But they're very light. And I think very nice. Now, they're not going to be, what did you pay for the Asus? $200, $300?
Oh, yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you have to use Windows, or is all the grading being done on the web?
It's mainly being done on the web, but the classes we're teaching are Word, Excel.
Oh, so you do need a Windows machine. You can't. Yeah. Because, I mean, if everything you were doing was just on the web, then I would say a Chromebook would actually be a very good choice.
Yeah, no, I have to be able to open up and look at it to grade it.
Well, you can open up Word docs, not to push you in this direction, but just so you know, you can open up Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel and PowerPoint docs on a Chromebook and Google Docs just fine. In fact, you can use Office 365 on a Chromebook, which is Microsoft's own Office, and it works just fine, the web-based version of that.
Okay.
So you wouldn't be without Microsoft Office. You'd just be all web-based. That's the whole idea of a Chromebook, is that it's not running local software. It's running everything on the web. Those are very inexpensive and are a little bit better build than that Asus. What is your budget?
Well, for the smaller one, I wanted to stay under $500.
Yeah. $500, you can get a decent, you won't be able to get an Ultrabook for that. Those tend to be more closer to $1,000.
I'm looking at another new 16-inch one then.
Yeah.
That kind of money.
I mean, I would say Lenovo would be your best bet. Their business class stuff is very, very good. High quality. And they also make some $500. Think with $500, you're getting a consumer-grade laptop. It's lower quality.
Well, I just want something that I can do, like grading on the run.
Yeah.
17-inch, I just leave it at home.
No, it's too big, yeah. Plus, battery life's terrible. Yeah, no, I understand that.
Yeah. Replacement for the 17-inch Dell, because it's over 2 years old now.
I have no problem with, well, 2 years is not the end of the line, unless it's already having problems. It should go longer than that.
I'm having a lot of problems.
How about a Surface Pro? We're way out of your budget now, though. We're well over $1,000 with keyboards. So no, forget I even mentioned that.
Okay.
I would say Acer, Asus, HP, Lenovo all make Windows machines in that price range, they're not going to be great. You're not going to be great.
I would just want something to be able to get by.
It's just, I understand it tied you over. It's not going to be your main machine.
Yeah, it's just something that I can take somewhere while I'm babysitting, whatever, and be able to do some grading on the run.
Well, for that, a Chromebook might not be a bad choice, and those are very inexpensive.
Okay.
An Acer C720, it's tiny, lightweight, battery life is excellent. In fact, and it's $200. The new, so I mean, this is a good interim solution. As I said, do you have an Office subscription to Microsoft Office?
No, I just have the.
Instead of using the box version, you're going to start getting the subscription version. Microsoft's going to want you to do that anyway. And at that point, then you can use Office 365. All your documents can be stored in one drive, and you'd be using Office 365, and it would be a really good on-the-go. Not something you'd use every day. You'd still want your home computer, but that would be actually not a bad choice. Very inexpensive.
I have one more question for you.
Yeah.
I just bought an external passport backup.
Okay.
It backups to Dropbox, which my Dropbox isn't big enough.
Yeah, you have to buy more space.
Yeah, and I was thinking of switching to the backup that you suggested online. I don't know about the prices between the two.
It's $50 a year, and it's not limited to any amount.
Yeah, and see,
that's lots less than Dropbox.
But I didn't know if Passport has the ability to switch.
Well,
to
it
that.
probably doesn't. Probably doesn't. The Passport has its own local storage.
Yeah.
And then you would use Carbonite on the computer. By the way, I mean, I should mention, since you're a Microsoft user, you could also use Microsoft's own OneDrive. Their prices are lower than Dropbox. So is Google Drive. Almost every Dropbox is now the most expensive choice out there for cloud-based storage.
Okay, you said Google Drive, and what was the other one?
Microsoft's own OneDrive.
Oh, okay, OneDrive. Well, that one I usually use my pictures on. So
yeah, you're already using it.
Yeah.
Might as well buy some more.
Okay, well, yeah. I really appreciate your help.
Hey, I don't know if I helped you, but I gave you some ideas anyway.
You gave me some
good. I think if you're buying a business class notebook, Lenovo is a really good choice. I don't have a problem with Dell. We use Dells in our front office operation here. All the bookies are using Dell computers to take bets and stuff like that. And no, I'm just kidding. When I say front office, I mean like, the business side. Thanks, Heather. Thanks, Nathan. Thanks to you for joining me. I'll see you next time. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. I'm Leo Laporte. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, the Tech Guy is just the tip of the iceberg. We do nearly 30 shows now on the Twit Netcast Network, and you'll find them all at twit.tv. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on Mac Break Weekly, iPad on iPad Today. You get your daily dose of tech news from Tech News Today, and our weekly roundtable show, This Week in Tech. It's all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next time with another great Tech Guy podcast. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.